Hi, welcome to the first episode of SHI, Society Hates Introverts, where we talk about how this world was not made for introverts. And if you think I'm lying, you are obviously not an introvert, because us introverts know that this is true.
Girl, you know it's true.
Today we're going to talk about tennis player Naomi Osaka withdrawing from the French Open. And this story doesn't involve just an introvert, but also has to do with mental health as well. On May 26th, Naomi, a self-described introvert, tweeted, "Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. I'm writing this to say I'm not going to do any press during Roland Garros. I've often felt that people have no regard for athletes' mental health, and this rings very true whenever I see a press conference or partake in one. We're often sat there and asked questions that we've been asked multiple times before, or asked questions that bring doubt into our minds, and I'm just not going to subject myself to people that doubt me. I've watched many clips of athletes breaking down after a loss in the press room, and I know you have as well. I believe that whole situation is kicking a person while they're down, and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Me not doing press is nothing personal to the tournament, and a couple journalists have interviewed me since I was young, so I have a friendly relationship with most of them. However, if the organizations think that they can just keep saying, do press or you're gonna be fined, and continue to ignore the mental health of the athletes that are the centerpiece of their cooperation, then I just gotta laugh. Anyways, I hope the considerable amount that I get fined for this will go towards a mental health charity. XOXO. When I first saw that, I thought, great job, Naomi, for setting boundaries and taking care of yourself. But apparently other people did not see it that way. These are some of the responses that she got on Twitter. "I'm a big fan, but you're pushing the responsibility to others by saying mental health when someone asks you a question. Whether you win or lose, you can always choose not to answer, but not showing up due to mental health sounds like a big excuse since it is part of your job." Obviously, Matthews, Michelle's, you probably haven't suffered with mental health issues, and you probably also haven't suffered with actually having compassion. Sheer entitlement. So many other athletes in all sorts of sports face up to the media after they have lost, but you're too special? Hey, Ken, not everyone takes care of themselves the same way you do. Or, probably don't. This next tweet comes from Marcos Villegas, who is a broadcaster and founder of Fight Hub TV. "Nah, doing press is part of your job. It comes with the territory. Accept it." Okay, Marcos, so would you tell people who get harassed at work or on the way to work, that's just part of it. That's just part of your job. You just have to accept it. Okay, you can't do anything to take care of yourself. Should a tennis player stop playing midway through the match once they realize they are losing to their opponent because it doesn't feel good and is not good for mental health in that moment? Isn't it better to only keep playing when they know they are going to win? Okay, Dinzam, that is not what Naomi said. She didn't say, I only want to play tennis if I'm guaranteed to win. So great job putting words in her mouth. Setting an example for the whole world on how to set boundaries. I agree, Ashley. I think a lot of us should start setting more boundaries. And if people get mad at you for setting boundaries, that is their problem. And they're probably just upset because they can't take advantage of you anymore. That's some weak sauce. It's her job to do press conferences. I'm sure followers who barely know tennis will support this and think she's taking some sort of stance pro-mental health. But the rest of us tennis fans can see through it. And right before her weakest slams too. Dealing with press is part of your job. Get some media training or bring your manager with you in the press room. Learn to say no and toughen up. Your manager and your coach should have made this part of your education. If you don't like a question, say so. Don't hide. Again, with insensitivity and trying to force people who might not be comfortable doing something to do something they're not comfortable with. Again, it's introverts having to live in an extroverted world and people just not being very sympathetic to it. Instead of being helpful, they're just insulting. So after not doing press, she actually did end up getting fined $15,000, but on May 31st, she actually withdrew from the French Open, tweeting, "Hey everyone, this isn't a situation I ever imagined or intended when I posted a few days ago. I think now the best thing for the tournament, the other players, and my well-being is that I withdraw so that everyone can get back to focusing on the tennis going on in Paris. I never wanted to be a distraction, and I accept that my timing was not ideal and my message could have been clearer. More importantly, I would never trivialize mental health or use the term lightly. The truth is that I have suffered long bouts of depression since the US Open in 2018, and I have had a really hard time coping with that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm introverted, and anyone that has seen me at the tournaments will notice that I'm often wearing headphones, as that helps dull my social anxiety. Though the tennis press has always been kind to me, and I want to apologize especially to all the cool journalists who I may have hurt, I am not a natural public speaker and get huge waves of anxiety before I speak to the world's media. I get really nervous and find it stressful to always try to engage and give you the best answers I can. So here in Paris, I was already feeling vulnerable and anxious, so I thought it was better to exercise self-care and skip the press conferences. I announced it preemptively because I do feel like the rules are quite outdated in parts, and I wanted to highlight that. I wrote privately to the tournament apologizing and saying that I would be more than happy to speak with them after the tournament, as the slams are intense. I'm going to take some time away from the court now, but when the time is right, I really want to work with the tour to discuss ways we can make things better for the players, press, and fans. Anyways, hope you are all doing well and staying safe. Love you guys. I'll see you when I see you. So I think a lot of us introverts, and especially those of us who have dealt with social anxiety, as I have, can definitely relate to a lot in her tweet. And, yes, I know the press is part of her job, and a lot of us have had jobs, especially us introverts, have had jobs where we have to be a little bit more extroverted, and, we don't really feel comfortable. Anxiety is not fun. It can be really hard. I've had panic attacks. Panic attacks are not fun. And yeah, it's very difficult. And I feel, although it is part of her job, I think a little more compassion and sympathy would be very helpful. And not just in this situation, but in any situation, because you forcing someone to do something that they don't feel comfortable with is not going to help. So instead of trying to force someone to do something they don't feel comfortable with, especially when it might cause them a panic attack or something, or just make them feel worse, maybe try to help them. Former tennis player Martina Navratilova tweeted this, I think now deleted tweet, and kudos to Naomi Osaka for caring so much about the other players. While she tried to make a situation better for herself and others, she inadvertently made it worse. Hope this solution, pulling out, as brutal as it is, will allow her to start healing and take care of herself. So I don't know if you got that, but she was being sarcastic. Billie Jean King tweeted, I fully admire and respect what Naomi is doing with her platform, so I am a little torn as I try to learn from both sides of the situation. While it's important that everyone has the right to speak their truth, I have always believed that as professional athletes, we have a responsibility to make ourselves available to the media. In our day, without the press, nobody would have known who we are or what we thought. There's no question they helped build and grow our sport to what it is today. I acknowledge things are very different now with social media and everyone having an immediate ability to speak their truth. The media will still play an important role in telling our story. There is no question that the media needs to respect certain boundaries. But at the end of the day, it is important we respect each other and we are in this together. Okay, Billie Jean, that's really nice at the end, but, I know back in your day, you really needed the press. But yes, now, like you said, we do have social media, and maybe back in your day, you weren't used to women asserting boundaries, but, this is 2021, and we are going to start asserting our boundaries now. Whether it's women, introverts, minorities, people with mental health issues, people need to start asserting their boundaries. And we also need to respect people's boundaries as well. Former tennis pro and coach Patrick McEnroe said, quite frankly, I was surprised initially to see her take this stance, although she has been at the forefront of other very important issues, the Black Lives Matter issues last summer. She is using her platform to bring awareness to certain issues, very important ones. Mental health is an incredibly important topic. I think there may have been a few missteps along the way from Naomi and her team looking at how this was going to play out. She has a huge platform and a great player, but I thought that was too much, going too far threatening her. The statement up until that was fine. They reached out to her about mental health awareness. They said, is there any way we can work this out, maybe come to some compromise in the short term, but in the long term, you can't have players just deciding to do whatever they want to do. This is what's frustrating to me. Okay, why can't people just be a little bit compassionate? Okay, why can't you just allow someone to take a break, maybe, reach a compromise. Again, why force someone to do something that makes them uncomfortable? I don't think she said she never wants to do press ever again for the rest of her life. Why can't you just give her a break while she works on those issues? Serena Williams told reporters that she definitely feels for Naomi.
I feel for Naomi. I feel like I wish I could give her a hug because I know what it's like. Like I said, I've been in those positions. We have different personalities, and people are different. Not everyone is the same. I'm thick, other people are thin. So everyone is different and everyone handles things differently. So, you just have to let her handle it the way she wants to in the best way that she thinks she can. And that's the only thing I can say. I think she's doing the best that she can.
So the leaders of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments reacted to Naomi's withdrawal by issuing a statement. On behalf of the Grand Slams, we wish to offer Naomi Osaka our support and assistance in any way possible as she takes time away from the court. She is an exceptional athlete and we look forward to her return as soon as she deems appropriate. Mental health is a very challenging issue which deserves our utmost attention. It is both complex and personal, as what affects one individual does not necessarily affect another. We commend Naomi for sharing in her own words the pressures and anxieties she is feeling, and we empathize with the unique pressures tennis players may face. Okay, so I thought this was a good start by the leaders of the 4 Grand Slams, and hopefully they stay true to their word and they do work with Naomi Osaka to, hopefully actually care about their players' mental health. And I commend Naomi for standing up for herself and taking care of herself. And I feel, we should be a little bit more sympathetic for people who are struggling with mental health issues. And if you don't understand it, if you're going to be a jerk about it, just shut up. You don't really help at all. Again, just another example of how the world does not really care or is really nice to introverts or or people who deal with mental health issues. But hopefully with more people speaking out about it, this will change in the future. I really want to know what you guys think about this topic, so please let me know in the comments. You can also follow the show on Instagram and Facebook. And if there's any other introvert related story that you would like for me to cover on this show, please let me know in the comments, and we will see you next time on Society Hates Introverts. Just a little bit. The show where we talking about shoot, that she definitely feels for girl, it's girl, it's true. Ooh, 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 I want you.